Hello everybody and welcome to the fourth session of the course. Today's topic is formulation of the research problem. Now this topic is divided into two parts. Today we will discuss the first part and the next session we will discuss the second part. To understand the formulation of the research problem, we shall discuss a research paper. Details I will share with you, and we will see how the author has developed different stages of the research. In your earlier sessions, we have already seen the first step of the research process is to develop a problem statement, and literature review is one of the methods by which we can identify a problem statement. When we conduct the literature review, we usually find a research gap, and that gap can be converted into a problem statement. However, there could be other methods to identify the problem statement. For instance, maybe the experience of the participant in the organization can lead to a research problem. Sometimes pilot surveys are also being done to identify the research problem. Let us look at the article, research article, which you actually see on your screen for today's discussion. So let us see what is the problem statement, or what are the problem statements that have been derived by the author. Now I have taken some of the problem statements from the research paper, and we can see what the author is trying to do. The author is trying to introduce the issue to the readers. The statement of the problem tells what is to be investigated or what is the field of interest. The statements are written clearly and precisely. There is no ambiguity in any of the statements. Now after the problem statements, we move to the next step, which is called rationale or justification. A mere discovery of the problem statement is not sufficient to carry out the research unless it is being justified. Therefore, this is a very important step in the research. Now let us look at some of the justifications that have been provided by the author. If we look at the justifications that have been given by the author, what we can see, the author is trying to tell us why this research is needed, who would be benefited, and what would be the intended benefits. And we can see it very clearly from the last point, it is actually being highlighted. The author is hinting at financial benefits. Once we are through with the problem statement and the justification or the rationale, next step is to state the research objectives. The problem statements are broken down into research objectives, and these objectives tells us very clearly, or it gives a very clear indication what exactly needs to be achieved in the research. Now let us look at the objectives that have been stated by the author. Usually when we write the objectives, we keep in mind of one particular standard. It is known as SMART, S-M-A-R-T. S stands for specific, M stands for measurable, A stands for achievable, R stands for realistic, and T stands for time bound. Now we can see the author is restricting his study only to one particular city of India, and the suggestions are given for attaining sustainable water management system for the particular city. So when the objectives have been stated, we go to the next stage of the study. Here the objectives are broken down further, either into research questions or into research hypothesis. Now in this particular research article by Professor Banerjee, the author has written the research questions. So let us look at some of the research questions developed by the author. In a qualitative research, the research questions are mandatory. However, the hypothesis is formed when the theory permits the prediction or association between the variables. And finally, the research designs are being decided, based on which we decide the data collection plan and the analysis. Now here in this particular research article, the author has done the descriptive statistical analysis. So the research design was chosen by him as descriptive research design. Yeah, so in the first part of the formulation of the research, we have seen how to write the problem statement, followed by how to write the justification or the rationale, followed by research objectives, and the research designs and the research questions or hypothesis. This is the end of the part 1. We shall see some more steps in part 2. Thank you.